So Book of Boba Fett episode 6 came out, and it's fair to say that they know how to treat us. This is the penultimate episode of this series, and we're treated to loads of cameos, which we're going to go over now. There's 100,000 different spoilers that we could talk about. But first of all, the episode opens with Cobb Vanth talking to some Pikes. Then we get to see R2-D2 and Mando interacting, and these droids that are building the Jedi Temple. Then we get to see Grogu, who's being trained by none other than Luke Skywalker himself on this sort of green forest world planet. Then we also, Ahsoka sort of sneaks up in the background, and then the man himself, Cad Bane, makes an appearance. I was very excited about that. And obviously Din Djarin is there, and we see him a lot of this episode, and we do see Boba Fett this episode, but he doesn't do anything, which is weird because this is his show, and this is the second episode running where he's been not really doing anything. Last episode he wasn't even in it. This episode he's just a background character, and it's weird. It feels like a Mandalorian operation, not a Boba Fett operation. But there's signs of promise for episode 7 having a good Boba Fett narrative, which is what I secretly hope they will have. Now, going over key plot details, some Pikes blow up the little bar place owned by that Twi'lek. They blow it up. They sort of do like very gangster 1920s style, where they have this sort of like briefcase and they just leave it in there, and it has a bomb inside and it blows it up. And there's this really cool scene with Cad Bane where you see him walking. The introduction scene for him is this character in the distance walking. You see the cloak and the hat and the outline, and he goes to Cobb Vanth and he says, whatever Boba Fett paid you, I'll pay you double. And he talks about Boba Fett working for the Empire. We can see Grogu getting trained by Luke, and he turns into Prime Yoda, doing all the backflips and all the stuff from that we saw him doing in episode 2, Attack of the Clones, which is interesting. It was very stylized, him in action. Then Grogu's given a choice to take the chainmail armor from Mandalorian or Yoda's lightsaber for himself, and he has to pick one of these. This means he can become a Jedi or sort of Mandalorian Force wielder, which is an interesting concept. And Cobb Vanth, once he's done with those Pikes, we later see him getting approached by Mando to ask to help. The townspeople are wary of Mando, saying they don't want to fight. They've renamed it Mos Pelgo Freetown, but Cobb Vanth, he also says that he will consider it, but then something happens, which I'll talk about later. Ahsoka's also there, but she's kind of distant, like she has somewhere to be, which could be teasing at her own series that she's going to be getting soon. She's probably hinting that she will be having her own series, and that she's going to be off on her own adventures as she leaves Luke to train Grogu on his own. And she talks about Anakin and some other cool stuff. Grogu also doesn't seem to be making much effort in his training. He doesn't have motivation, and he shows signs of the dark side, which we saw in Mandalorian Season 2 and Season 1 also. And the little gift was chainmail armor, as I already said, made of Beskar, which could come in handy, but seeing that Grogu can't have a lightsaber and the armor, he's going to have to pick. Now, Cad Bane shoots 2 people. One of them is Cobb Vanth's deputy, who he shoots multiple times. The other one is Cobb Vanth, and he shoots Cobb Vanth just once, which makes me think that he's probably alive, probably show up in the end of this series or another series, but he's not definitely dead. Now, we see the mod gang, Black Chrysanthemum and Din Djarin, Boba Fett and Fennec Shand as the sort of Boba Fett's task force, and hopefully they're going to add to that, recruit some more bounty hunters, which will be interesting to see who he's going to work with, as I'd love to see that. Then we also get to see Grogu training with one of these training Jedi balls that shoot lasers that I remember from the prequels and some of the video games. So that's quite cool. And then Ahsoka and Mando have a bit of a chat, and Ahsoka again, she seems distant, like she doesn't really want to be there, but she stops Mando from giving Grogu the gift, instead giving Luke the gift. Now, Cobb Vanth and Cad Bane have this really cool sort of spaghetti western style shootout, but it's freeway because Cobb Vanth's deputy is on the other side, and Cad Bane shoots both of them, as I already said. By the way, Cad Bane, he looks alright, but his skin's a little bit too light and his teeth look horrible. Like, they look a lot different in the Clone Wars and the Bad Batch. Also, something really cool is that we get some Order 66 scenes from Grogu's point of view, which is interesting, opening up on the mystery of who saved Grogu, which is the mystery that we've all been wondering on. And I've been considering making a follow-up video to my original video about who I think saved him. I think that'd be quite cool. Now here we've got Din Djarin and Ahsoka having a little chat, and again she sort of references things in other movies and stuff before sending him off on his adventures. And the episode ends on this cliffhanger of lightsaber or armor for Grogu. So it's sort of like, stay with the Mandalorian or stay with the Jedi. And I hope he chooses Jedi, but I feel like he's going to choose Mandalorian just so that they can have him back for season 3. I feel like it defeats the ending of season 2. This was a good episode, but it was kind of felt more like a Mandalorian episode than a Book of Boba Fett episode. I said the same thing about the last episode. But that's all I got to say. Now if you're new to this channel, then please subscribe. We're trying to hit 200 subscribers as soon as possible, and we talk about all things Star Wars, so I think you'd like that.